Hey there, I'm Caitlin Juergens, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here on my Boudoir Photography channel. It's a place where we can explore the world of boudoir photography, have some fun, and learn together. As a boudoir photographer with 8 amazing years under my belt, I've had the incredible opportunity to capture the beauty of so many incredible individuals. But let me tell you, my journey through boudoir photography has been so much more than just capturing amazing images. It's become a deeply personal and transformative experience for me, and I can't wait to share that with you all. I've seen firsthand the power of boudoir photography when it's used as a healing mechanism. It's been truly awe-inspiring to witness how it empowers individuals, boosts their self-esteem, and helps them embrace their unique beauty. And that's exactly why I'm here, to share my passion and insight with all of you. On this channel, we're going to dive into the artistry, techniques, and stories behind boudoir photography. But it's not all about technical stuff. I want to create a warm and inclusive environment where everyone feels welcome and inspired. So please engage in conversations not only with myself, but with each other. Whether you're a seasoned photographer looking for new tips or tricks, or someone who's just curious about the craft, I hope that I can provide loads of inspiration for you on your journey. Boudoir photography is all about celebrating self-love, body positivity, and personal empowerment. So let's get ready to embark on this journey together and join me for the first episode of Serendipitous Shots, exploring the art and empowerment of boudoir photography. In this episode, I will be discussing the importance of body positivity in regards to boudoir photography and how it can promote self-love and confidence. Boudoir is a powerful tool for embracing and celebrating your body, no matter what your age or your race or your size or your shape, your physical features, things from like scars to devices like colonoscopy bags. Boudoir is for everyone. I've seen so many influencers and artists preaching and talking about the same point where the inclusivity needs to stretch beyond just the bounds of accessibility. Things like boudoir photography, if you have, like I said, a colonoscopy bag, or if you're in a wheelchair, if you have self-harm scars, if you have marks that were left by somebody else, boudoir photography is still for you. It can provide a safe and empowering space for you to feel like yourself and really embrace the skin that you're in. I'd like to talk about how boudoir photography has a space in the body positivity movement, regardless of what side you're on. All shapes and all sizes, I do believe, are included in boudoir photography. In addition, I'd like to also maybe share some tips at the end of the episode for photographers alike who can create a more welcoming environment for their clients. So enough with openers. Let's dive into the dark side of self-confidence issues. Between depression and self-harm, domestic violence, the statistics paint a very grim picture for a multitude of situations why somebody might not feel comfortable getting in front of the camera. Boudoir photography is a very vulnerable space. Even though it is a safe space, I believe ultimately it is very vulnerable, and that can be very triggering for somebody who has gone through something either internally or externally. I have personally struggled with self-harm and eating disorders and depression that often left me in situations that were not in my control. I understand firsthand how these experiences can deeply affect one's self-esteem and their self-confidence. It makes it incredibly hard to be in front of the camera. When you're talking family photos at a barbecue, or even somebody taking their own selfie out in public and you potentially think that you're in the background, if you are somebody like myself who often has issues with self-confidence, there's a weird feeling that you get, right? Because let's be honest, there's a reason why I'm behind the camera most of the time. There's this feeling that you're not worth being photographed. How dare you mess up somebody else's photograph? For somebody who has also dealt with depression, having a photograph taken, knowing that that photograph may very well live beyond my lifetime, you almost don't want that, right? Like, people don't talk about that enough, where when you're struggling with these things, having something like a photograph that could serve as a potential constant reminder of the state that you're in or the state that you were in. It's not an easy, sign me up, baby. It's not. And I think it's important for photographers out there to understand that, because regardless whether you've got a new bride who's booking a cute bridal boudoir session for her husband or, soon to be husband, or whether you've got besties who are doing, a spooky boudoir for the fall, there are layers to everything. You're never 100% sure what that person might be struggling with, and it's really important to know that if you are going to be doing something in a vulnerable state with another person who's also in a vulnerable state, that you're conscientious of the fact that there might be external factors for your client. I mentioned that I've dealt with eating disorders, so weight fluctuation, right? Stretch marks, oof. I'm also a mom, and although my tiger stripes did not come in very deep, they are there. I know some of my mamas out there who've got, kangaroo pouches, and that's hard, right? Because, 9 months ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that's not what your body looked like. And I think embracing that is also really, really important. I love that I'm seeing more and more inclusive ads, especially when we're talking about lingerie or just undergarment wear. I love that we are seeing, I hate using the term real size models, because I'm not specifically talking about the plus size models there, but I love that even some of the middle size models and skinnier models, that these women are showcasing the cellulite that they have. They're showcasing the fact that their tits are not up to their chin, that maybe they do have a little flab on their arm, because you can have those at all stages, right? So I think in that regard, we really should be embracing the human body. However, because I am somebody who vouches for boudoir photography as almost a sort of immersive therapy for somebody who is healing from body dysmorphia, or somebody who is trying to reclaim the skin and the body that they have for this, this existence, Photoshop has come a long way. I don't mean to use Photoshop to get that Kim K booty. I don't mean to use Photoshop to take away that double chin. But if you are somebody who, like a few of my own personal clients, has self-harm scars, and you want to do boudoir, and these scars, they're lifelong, baby. First of all, your photographer, whoever you're communicating with to have these photos done, should be able to take pictures of those potential scars or markings in a way that still makes you feel beautiful, okay? And if that is not enough for you, if you are like, no, there's no way that I could have pictures with those markings, right? I understand. Photoshop in that instance, I think, is a perfect tool. You can see like the progression of Photoshop through the years, and I think when it's utilized conscientiously and respectfully, that there is an absolute, there is a place for Photoshop in the world. And I think that really can help clients, especially if that's where the conversation is going. I think it really all starts with finding a trusted photographer. Well, let's be honest, there's a little bit of creep factor around boudoir photography because Facebook is full of scams, right? We're seeing that in Facebook and TikTok and freaking Instagram. Pretty much any fad, social media, anywhere that people are like connecting. There's also things like Model Mayhem, and there's a magazine publishing site. There's just like a couple of different ones that like, yeah, like scammers are going to filter in because bad people are bad people. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have a vetting process for our photographers. Make sure that you are like looking for reviews. I, as a photographer, I encourage bringing a safety buddy, especially if it's your first shoot, with that photographer. Make sure that they're not using things like crude language or inappropriate suggestive ideas, things of that nature. Let's trust our gut on this one and really just pick a photographer that will make you feel comfortable. For men, that might mean another male, or specifically a female, depending on how comfortable you feel being vulnerable in front of other men. For a female, that might include hiring a female photographer. If anybody who's in the LGBT community, or maybe in the trans community specifically, you know, having that conversation with your photographer. And let's be honest, like most things in life, trying to get that information up front. I don't want anybody to put themselves in a potentially dangerous situation just because, like I said, bad people are bad people. That being said, though, as a photographer, becoming a trusted professional and building confidence with your clients who secretly or openly may be struggling requires creating a inviting and calm environment with lots of communication. From the initial consultation, make it clear to your clients that you want to put their well-being and their comfort ahead of your own needs as an artist or as a photographer. No matter who it is, you should be starting off from the get-go, putting that foundation in. Your comfort is what's important to me. I think that includes having a conversation about insecurities or any sort of aversions or any road bumps that may come up. As specific clients may not be able to pose in specific ways that you're used to, or some people may have a almost debilitating fear of certain body parts being shown, you know, stomachs, hips, things of that nature. So making sure that you know that about your client and working that into your plan for the photo shoot. Whether that means having to step outside of what you know and what you're used to and what you are usually directing clients to do, and maybe doing a little bit of research on how you can incorporate the needs of your client. Ensuring that the photo shoot is in a private location is pretty, you know, top notch. Not often are you going to see boudoir photographers doing photography or boudoir in open public spaces. Now they may, obviously fine art is one of those wonderful things that is subjective, and you can see references of boudoir in these more public domain spaces. But private can mean outside if you have a private garden, or you know of some secluded trails or beaches. That I think is still private location. I think the necessity for private, whether it's a studio or a private outdoor location, is just to make sure that that client understands that, like, you're not trying to put on a show for the whole world to watch. That being said, once you start working into the photo shoot, you know, offering a lot of breaks. I offer a lot of breaks. My favorite thing to do to especially offer a break that can be motivational is, you know, like grabbing a bottle of water, saying, here you go, you're killing it, and taking the camera and showing the client what's going on in the photo shoot, you know, showing them like, look at this moment I got, and being that hype man, right? Like, let's give it up to our photographers who really put in the hype man effort. if your photographer is not making you feel like you are on the set of like a red carpet event or like whether you're doing family or boudoir, like your photographer should be your hype man. And if they're not, I'm so sorry, but book another photographer. I don't care how good their pictures are, book another photographer. You're gonna have a thousand times better experience. I think this is also a good time that you could incorporate that conversation of accessibility or needs or poses. You know, I've had clients who book an hour photo shoot, and then 45 minutes in, I'm like, can we go back to this pose? And they're like, no, my hips did that 45 minutes ago. Right now I cannot. And I think that's a good conversation to have. Like, people should talk about that. Maybe your client is somebody who has back pains. Maybe they're menstruating, and you know, 3 poses ago they weren't cramping up the left side of their kidneys. You know what I mean? Like, so having those breaks is a good time to continue those conversations and really making your client feel like their needs are being heard and respected. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Serendipity Shots, exploring the art and empowerment of boudoir photography. I'm Caitlin Juergens. I currently own Serendipity Studios located in Kitsap County, Washington. And I'm here to remind you that boudoir photography is not just about capturing stunning images, which is a giant plus, but it's also about using it to reclaim yourself, build that empowerment, and have your girl boss moment. So take that first step, book that shoot, and let me know how it goes. I really, really want to hear your guys' input. Like, subscribe, you know, all of that stuff.